I remember staying up until about 2 in the morning. Then I got up around 8:30 in the morning, which isn't too bad. And then the first thing I did essentially was to color in this area, essentially to finish off the front of the jersey. And then during the morning hours and the afternoon hours, today was supposed to be a day in which Mom and I went to the Great New York State Fair, but she decided that today wouldn't be a good day because the weather forecast said that it would rain all day. And as such, maybe the rides would be closed and those sort of things. At the time, when she called me around 8:45 in the morning, the areas that are currently blank, I'm going to color in with a darkest gray Sharpie marker. This is just so I can mimic a rough texture for one side of each cleat. I'm basing this off images of cleats that Aaron Rodgers wore back in 2015. His current cleats may be a little different. On the inside, the ones towards the middle, it's smooth black, but on the sides towards the ends, it's rough, more of a rough black. So I'm using a drying up fine-tipped black Sharpie marker and then coloring, intentionally leaving some blank spots and then trying to fill in the blank spots with a darkest gray Sharpie marker, which is this right here, in an effort to create a sort of rough texture. Mom's decision for us to not go to the Great New York State Fair today kind of messed up Dad's plans a little bit, but only that in anticipation he didn't really buy any food for me today, but there was still some food, which I ended up having around 3 p.m. That being some sesame sticks from a nice snack bag that I believe he got from Aldi's some time back. And then a little bit later, I had a bowl of oats and honey, kind of Raisin Bran cereal, granola cereal, with some whole milk. And then later, when Dad got back, around 4:30 p.m., this was at a time in which I was in an sort of an afternoon slump, I think I fell asleep briefly during that afternoon period. By 4:30 p.m., the afternoon slump period, I pretty much had most of this done except for the Adidas logos and the green surrounding it. One thing I learned today for coloring Aaron Rodgers' cleats was that the darkest hue of Sharpie green next to black Sharpie can be hard to distinguish at times. This is what I had to do to make it look like the cleats in the image. In order to make the fluff around most of the laces before getting to the tongue of the cleats, I used a medium gray Sharpie marker and then used a black ultrafine Sharpie marker to make dots in that medium gray area. Because that fabric has little holes surrounded through it. And the fabric around the laces are a slightly different color from each other. The laces from the dotted fabric around most of it I think around 5:15 p.m., Dad and I went out to first pick up one of his friends, Bill, and then we all went to Tryon City Tavern, where I had a beer. The brew in this case was a Fiddlehead IPA. Because for some reason it stood out to me. And then when the server came up, Dad got a Danger Zone burger, which is essentially a burger with jalapeno slices. Bill got a garbage plate, and I also got a garbage plate, only mine was with everything, while Bill's wasn't. I recall that we both got cheeseburger garbage plates. And by that point, one of Dad's friends, Andy, had joined earlier and had been with us for some time. As our food cooked, I showed Andy all the new styrofoam drawings I had been making recently. I had done the same with Bill earlier, though in his case there was only really the new Joker. That was something I could be sure he hadn't seen before. With Andy, it was quite a handful. I, for the most part, sat and tried to be productive by looking up things on my phone, articles and whatnot, while occasionally making some conversation with Dad and his friends Andy and Bill, and sipping at my beer and then a glass of water, iced. That I got after the beer. I recall that Dad and his friends all had several beers, the majority of which were aluminum cans of Genesee Light. I recall it was somewhere around 9 p.m. when we decided to leave Tryon City Tavern. We dropped Bill off. Then we went to Wegmans, primarily to get a new AA battery for this. I'm not sure if the old battery, the old AA, had completely died yet, but I had been noticing lately that there would be periods, including the period right before Dad picked me up. Dad and I went out to ultimately go to Tryon. There were periods in which I would repeatedly turn off my computer mouse, take this off, take the battery out, then put the battery back in, put the cover back on, then turn the mouse back on in order to make it responsive again. Thing is, it wouldn't work, or it would take attempt after attempt for it to be successful. And on top of this, I would shake the computer mouse. And I would get it to occasionally, very briefly, be responsive before it would be unresponsive again. I didn't manage to get it responsive for an extended amount of time, a significant amount of time, before Dad and I went to Tryon City Tavern. Ultimately, after dropping Bill off, we went to the local Wegmans next to Dad's apartment unit, primarily in order to get some AA batteries. Even though just one is needed for the computer mouse. Though right before we found the AA batteries, Dad decided to make a quick stop at the produce section as we happened to see it on our way. And Dad got these peppers that I kind of picked out for the scrambled eggs. Dad bought them and then sliced them up for the scrambled eggs he made. Around 11 p.m. It's 11:42 p.m. right now. He served them about half an hour ago. These leftover mini eclairs, maybe 5 to 10 minutes ago. On our way to the local Wegmans, I called Mom and asked about us going to the Great New York State Fair tomorrow. But it turns out that won't really be feasible because, according to the weather app I have pre-installed on my phone, tomorrow there's an 86% chance of it raining, so we won't be able to go to the Great New York State Fair, but instead there are plans for us to go to Seabreeze on Thursday. Hopefully by that point I'll have the Aaron Rodgers polystyrene drawing finished. Currently here on the research tree, and here, in terms of getting the latest set of Ancient Wonders that I've unlocked, I've only just noticed that they added some new Ancient Wonders. I like these new bonuses. It'll be quite a while before I get to that chapter, though. It's at this new chapter. Ascended goods. For the vast majority of the morning and afternoon hours, Dad was at his new house, and one of his friends, Andy, worked on some molding for the house. Yeah, I would say it was around the time, maybe around 10 in the morning to 4:30 to 5 p.m. And it was sometime around this period that I did most of the work so far on Aaron Rodgers' cleats. And I had a few cups of coffee during the morning hours.